Hey guys, my name's Banished. Welcome to my video. This is going to be my first video going over in-depth guides, tips, and methods to improve your Fortnite gameplay. I hope you enjoy, and if you do, this is a new YouTube channel. I just recently started uploading some content to it, as well as streaming to Twitch. If you like what you see, if you feel like you learned something, please hit that notification button, subscribe to the channel, hop on over to Twitch, click that follow button, come watch me live. We'd love to have you. Thank you. Now, some of you may be asking, who the hell is Banished? Why should I listen to him? Is he even worth listening to? And to that, what I say is, I understand your skepticism. I came over from PUBG. I was former #1 on the PUBG North American first-person leaderboard. I wanted to learn Fortnite. It looked like so much fun. I knew it was going to be a large learning process. So what I did is start studying streamers, figure out what they're doing every game, figure out what they're doing right and what I think they're doing wrong, adopted those methods, applied them to Season 2 and Season 3, and I think good things happened. In Season 2, I only had 38 wins. It was a rough learning process. I couldn't figure the game out. I was struggling with building. It was driving me absolutely nuts. And then, of course, in Season 3, I've now got my win rate up to about 30, anywhere between 30 and 35%. My KDR hovers around 7 to 7.5. And in Season 3, I've already got to 165 wins applying these very methods and these very principles. And I am confident that if you do this, you will too. Now, this video is going to cover the circle management process. This is going to go over the landing spot, what spot you pick, and why you should pick it, the pathing that you're going to take when running throughout the map and the circle, and the positioning that you're going to put yourself in throughout the circle and the map, and why. Now, it has two rules associated with this. Rule number 1 is going to be circle first, then fight. What this means is that if you're transitioning to a new circle, the first thing you should do is focus on getting to the new circle before you engage in a fight, unless you are overly confident that you're going to be able to finish that fight in a matter of 10 or 15 seconds. The second rule of this is going to be do not build a base. And what I mean by base is like a 2 or 3 tall 1x1 base that gets you in a lot of trouble unless you're in circles 3 or 4, and I'll explain a little bit more about that as we move on through the video. Now, in regards to the landing position that you pick, this is very important, and it doesn't seem that important, but here's why it is. So if you pick a place like Tilted Towers or Pleasant Park or Retail Row, or in some cases, depending on where the bus is going, you could even end up at Anarchy Acres, etc., and you have, we'll say 10 people or more going there, the likelihood of you leaving there without suffering some RNG death is going to be slim to none unless you get incredibly lucky or you play it perfectly. So what we're going to try to do is eliminate having to play that perfectly, and we're going to land in the place that can get us 1 or 2 or 3 early kills, which is still, not too far from what you would have in the event you landed at like Tilted or a popular place. Now, the first thing you need to do, gather materials as quickly as you can, gather a gun, because you're about to get shot at. There's going to be early fights. In this case, the guy hits me really well. So I knew I was out of position. I knew I didn't have the guns to take him from that distance, so I retreat. There's nothing wrong with retreating. Build with what little materials I have, make him push me because he's going to push me because he hurt me. Now that I have high ground, the advantage has swayed a little bit. I hear him beating down my base, so what we're going to do is peek around the corner, attack him a little bit, get him hurt. He freaks out, he destroys my base, we land, we do a combination of jumping and crouching to finish the kill, and we move on. Now, the next thing to look out for is understanding where you are in the circle, understanding where the circle started and how far of a run you're going to have. In this case, in particular, we're rather close to the circle. So as soon as I see that I'm relatively close to the circle, it's not going to take me very long to get there. I relax a little bit, focus more on getting the supplies that I need. I prefer to have, roughly around 600 to 700 of your main building material, which in most cases is going to be wood, on me at all times. If you do that, pretty much no matter what fight you get into, you're going to have the ability to, build as much as you want or as much as you'll need to build. All right, so we know we're close to the circle. Now we have to identify which way should we go, what path should we take into the next circle. When I do this, again, you always want to be thinking one circle ahead. Always be a step ahead of everyone else. So in this case, where are the people going to be coming from? So we identify the major areas. We have Fatal Field, Salty Springs, Shifty, Tilted, Dusty, and Anarchy. We know we're going to have people in each one of these areas, and we're going to try to avoid getting sandwiched between more than one person, 1 or 2 or 3 people. So what we're going to do is find a way to isolate single individuals and get those wins without having to worry about being swarmed immediately. So how are we going to do this? So we know we're going to have someone coming from over from Shifty. They're probably, they may take the river path. They may come over to the bridge. There is some chests at the bridge, which usually don't get looted. So it's very likely that someone's going to be right here. We also know that there's going to be at least 1 or 2 people left over in Fatal. There's going to be 1 or 2 people left over in Salty and a couple people coming out of Tilted. So the congestion spots are going to be right here. This whole circle area is where we do not want to be. The amount of eyes pointing in this direction will be significant depending what happens with Salty, if he goes up or not. So what we want to do is try to isolate this person and this person. What we are going to do is ignore the game's recommendation of this distance right here, and we're going to take our own path. A path that allows us to isolate individual people with also not running in a straight line, because anytime you're running in a straight line, they are also running in a straight line. You're increasing the chance of being sniped. Someone could line up a shot, etc., etc. So we're going to take kind of an unusual path. We're going to run through the area we started in. We're going to go around, cut off that bridge, hopefully pick up a fight here right around the bridge area. We're going to come over near Salty, try to isolate one of the guys that's leaving Salty, not both of them, because there's going to be more than one most likely. And then once we do that, we're going to work our way down to Fatal. Again, we want to be a little deep into the circle. We don't want to go to the middle, because then you're going to have a lot more eyes on you. You don't want to hug the outside, because then you might have a max run situation where you have to run over to the edge. So we're going to go a little bit into the circle, giving us a little bit of a buffer, so usually when the next circle spawns, even if it is a max run, it won't be that bad. Alright, so as you can see, we made it up here to the first checkpoint where we're going to try to isolate someone. I glance back to my left, see a guy who is in fact on the bridge. Now notice, I don't shoot at him immediately. I don't take the long range fight. I know he's dropping down to pick up the chest that's below the bridge. So what we're going to do is we're just going to slowly push him. He's going to go over there, loot that case, and then hopefully we'll be able to get a kill off on him. Hear him, patient. There you go. Now, I'm going to quickly loot. That's the biggest thing. Quickly loot. Didn't sit there, didn't try to heal right here. As soon as I killed him, I'm moving. I am moving in case someone heard that gunshot. I'm not going to pop that shield, so I could use the extra 25 potion right now. I'm just going to keep moving and worry about that later. As soon as I pulled that trigger, somebody possibly heard that. So again, we're going to keep moving. We're going to go right back to our original plan. Even though we veered off a little bit, we still want to go back to the plan we had set in motion earlier. Now what we're worried about is that one of those guys from Salty heard those gunshots and might be making his way here. So we're going to try to isolate that guy. Sure enough, we see that guy's head just jump over there in that building. But again, instead of getting super aggressive or taking a long-range shot, we're just going to keep working towards until we see what he does. In this case, comes right to me, build a wall, build a ramp, and dead. Now, notice, I didn't need to do anything flashy there. I didn't need to build 2 ramps and 2 walls and waste time, because that 3 seconds of me building that second set of ramp would have quite possibly made the difference there. Sometimes you just need to wait to see how someone reacts, because if you approach everyone with aggression, you're going to find someone who can counter your aggression very well, and then they get high ground on you, and you're screwed. Alright, so after picking up a kill from a guy who was basically AFK, we're going over to Fatal Fields. We're going to try to get that guy in transition, the guy that we thought was going to be here earlier, and what we're going to do is just kind of glance around and see if we see him. Oh, in this case, we did. Right here, wall, ramp, wait. Nothing fancy, simple, wall, ramp, until I saw he reacted. He was obviously a newer player, no big deal, just get the kill, loot quickly, and as always, move on. Alright, so now we've completed our initial objective, which was to isolate some individual players, get our gear to where it needed to be, get our supplies where it needed to be, and now we're in the second circle, and now we're going back into the circle management mindset. So when taking a look at circle number 2, the approach is very similar to circle number 1. Find a safe path to follow, identify where the congestion points are going to be, find a way to isolate 1 or 2 more people, and get yourself in the best position to be 1 circle ahead for the 3rd circle. Now once again, you want to identify what are going to be the biggest threat areas, where are the most people going to be, where am I going to have the highest likelihood of being sandwiched, double teamed, or triple teamed. In this case, again, we have Fatal Fields, Salty Springs, Retail Road, Dusty Depot, and then of course the prison in the bottom right. So what we're going to do is identify where we think players are. So just like before, we're going to identify which areas have the biggest possibility of us being double teamed or even triple teamed. And we're going to try to avoid those areas to reduce the amount of RNG that we face. Again, the Tilted Towers area, Pleasant Park, Anarchy Acres, all of that flow is now moved its way into an even smaller area, making it even worse. So as usual, we're going to avoid this upper area. So instead, what we are going to do is pick a path where we can still get a couple of isolation kills, maybe finalize our gear towards the end game, hopefully get a rocket launcher or something that'll really help us close this game out. And again, do it safely. So what we're going to do is kind of hug towards the outside, non-stop movement going counterclockwise around this circle. This way we can hopefully get the isolation kill here, maybe pick up a kill at this bridge area from the guy coming out of prison, and put ourselves in the best position for circle number 3. So as we start to move counterclockwise around the circle, again looking for our isolation kills, right on cue we found our first one. What we're going to do again is play it smart. Don't have to get over aggressive. Wait to see what the guy is doing. In this case, I had the opportunity to shoot here, and then I realized that he's just going to have high ground and probably build on me if I make that shot and I don't kill him immediately. So I'm just going to follow him up this ramp, place a little bit of wood to get high ground when I realize he's down and to my right, and outplay him. Build, 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 turn around, maintain high ground, get cover. Nice and relaxed. Don't have to get too aggressive. Don't have to waste a ton of materials. Loot quickly, and as always, move on. In this case, I took a little more damage than I had expected, so what we're going to do is go ahead and just kind of build around, and we're going to go ahead and pop one of these big jellies real quick. And as soon as we're done with this big jelly, what you're going to see is we're just going to move. So again, we came to prison, we checked out prison, we moved over to the bridge area to see if we can get one more isolation kill. Not seeing anybody. First thing we're going to do is check out this high ground, but as we go to check out the high ground, we see the building. Now this is going to be the isolation kill we're looking for. We want to get this guy taken care of, maintain position, circle just chained. So what we're going to do is just push on him, get aggressive with him. The reason we're going to get aggressive with him is we're moving on later into the circle. The more and more likelihood we have of this guy being, in my opinion, the bad player is slim to none. In this case, I'm wrong, but what we're going to do is immediately get high ground. We know he's in this base. We just saw him build it, and we're kind of just going to wait him out. Okay, we see him build out. He has no idea we're here. We're going to go ahead and finish this kill real quick, get him, build over, loot him quickly, and immediately, now that we're in the third circle, immediately what we're going to do is figure out what our next play is. The decisions we're going to make in the third and fourth circle are the most important decisions. I'm noticing that there are two mountains right now in the circle. The likelihood of one of them being in the center moving forward is still pretty high. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick one of those, get aggressive, get on that hill, take control of the high ground on this map, and hopefully secure the win. So I went ahead and made it to the first high ground, the one that was closest to me. And the reason I'm doing this, notice that I'm still a good quarter inch inside of the circle, so I'm not hanging on the outside, which is one of our cardinal rules. And what we're going to do is we're trying to figure out where the circle is going to end. But being that there is a high chance that it could end on either one of these high grounds, I don't want to waste my building materials on one or the other yet. So I've built a simple little 2x2 base here, or 2 high base here. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen yet, so we're just going to kind of hold up, look for maybe a free kill or two. In this case, we don't actually get it because everybody else is kind of playing pretty safe. What we're waiting for in the third and fourth circle, you're going to make the most important decisions that you make the entire time. Nothing that you've done up to this point will matter if you screw up in one of these phases. So circle's about to change. We're going to see what it does, and as soon as it does, the first thing we're going to do is immediately get to the next best advantage, whether that be high ground or whether that be just a certain position on the map. Alright, so circle moved and it didn't move in my favor, so we're immediately going for the next possible high ground, which happens to be the other mountain. Unfortunately, on the way there, I start hearing rockets getting shot up, so to be safe, I start building. In the process of building, someone else got high ground on me. So I know my objective again is to play the circle. So what I did here was just build down, build floors above my head. You don't have to engage. A lot of people panic when they get into this situation. Guy got over the top of me. I wasn't even going to waste my time trying to sit there and have that build fight with him, wasting a whole unnecessary amount of building supplies. So what I'm going to do is go to my objective. My objective was high ground. That is first and foremost the #1 thing we're going to follow. I do this, build up. He has no idea what happened. He didn't even know I left because all he was focused on was trying to get a kill. So now he figured out what happened. He's realized I'm gone. And we're going to have a little bit of a fight here. And the reason I'm doing this, I'm just going to hold this position. I have nothing to fear except these Easter eggs. So he starts shooting Easter eggs at me, but I don't want to lose my position. So I know I can just line of sight him right now. So I'm going to back off the back of the mountain. I know there are still 5 other people alive right now. I'm just going to chill and wait. Don't need to get aggressive. Don't need to do anything stupid. This is going to draw a lot of attention. His massive explosion is going to be drawing attention. Everyone is looking this way. So just going to pop this campfire, sit here and wait. And of course, right on cue, someone noticed. Now we're hearing fighting going on because 2 other people have now moved over to him. I get shot at from a third guy right over here. Deal with this problem almost immediately. And again, we're just going to wait. Now he's shooting those Easter eggs at someone else. So now we're going to go back, keep our advantage that we had in the first place, wait for him, give him something to think about, and just like that, we're winning this fight. So we go back to building a little, simple 1-by-1, nothing crazy, and we're going to restart the high ground process all over again. He's building, he's hurt, and all I'm going to be doing is just kind of rocking back and forth. You hear the gun notification that I tagged him. So again, keeping pressure on him, not allowing him to do anything. I can see by the way I'm facing on the mini-map that he is out of the circle. He's going to have to move. I don't want to give him an opportunity to get another kill. I want to force him to move and be uncomfortable. So that's what we're going to do. Now right there, this was a game-changing moment. We hear the airdrop got opened to our right. There are only 3 people alive. Obviously I'm one of them, which means there's 2 people alive, 1 to my right and the guy we were just shooting at. So now we're in a predicament. The minute I know that I am sandwiched, you kind of just chill out. I see this guy, I'm going to keep some pressure on him, tag him some more times, make him use the remaining shields that he has. In this case, he had a never-ending supply of shield, it would seem. So again, I'm just going to back off, get better position in the circle, still maintaining high ground. I didn't drop completely off the mountain. You don't have to drop, off the mountain. One of the benefits of the building in this game is that you can kind of post up anywhere. You just got to make sure you have attached objects to a solid surface. So again, we see him right here. We know he's directly ahead of us building. We're going to keep putting pressure on him because the other guy is obviously not that big of a threat. He's not showing himself. He's not participating in the fight. So we're not even worried about him right now. We're just going to keep tagging this guy. This is the guy that has already shown that he can build. He's our biggest threat right now. We're not worrying about the guy to the right. I've now tagged him, 5 or 6 more times, and we're going to keep applying the pressure. But notice, we don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything crazy. I don't have to get aggressive. Your first instinct naturally is going to be, once I've tagged this guy 3 or 4 times, I should push him. No, you have every advantage in the game right now. Sit here and do your job, which is to win the game. So here's what we're going to do. Now the circle has changed again. He starts shooting rockets. Side note. When someone starts to shoot rockets at you, you have 2 options. Immediately push that person, close the gap between. Rockets are less effective from close range because he risks hurting himself, blowing himself up, or even damaging his own building that he's done. So you're 9 times out of 10, when you're at distance, if it's just you and one other guy and he's shooting rockets at you, do not try to stay at distance. You have to close that gap. In this case, I have circle advantage, okay? There's no reason for me. If I close the gap, I'm giving up my only advantage I have right now. He has rockets. Rockets are the biggest advantage in the game. I don't want to give up the one advantage that I have on him, which happens to be high ground. So, wait for him to make the move. We have nothing to fear. Again, we're in the best position right now. He's going to keep shooting rockets. Now, right now, he hits this base with a rocket, putting me in a lot of trouble. Instead of freaking out and panicking at this point, I'm going to maintain position. So, again, I'm just going to sit here right around this tree. The tree is going to cause a line of sight problem for him. I know eventually he's going to have to move in since I'm more in the middle of the circle than he is. And we're just going to keep holding this, knowing that there's nothing he can do about this. Keep applying pressure. We're still waiting for guy number 3 to show his face. We already know he was to the right. When I jumped off this mountain, I could see that he wasn't there. So we know he's over near that guy somewhere. We're just waiting. Let them figure this problem out here in a second. Don't get myself into a 2v1. Let the problem play out. Now we hear shotgun blasts. The minute I heard those shots, the first thing I'm doing is putting myself on the edge of the circle that he is at. Now real quick, this is what I meant by that. He is over there. Just based on I can tell how far he is from me, I know he is currently outside of the circle. So I want to push up right up to the edge of the circle, forcing him to have to move. This way, if I maintain high ground, there is almost 0 chance he will get it from me, which pretty much makes it almost impossible unless I do something incredibly stupid to lose this fight. Even though he has rockets, I can build faster than he can reload that thing right now. Third guy died. Now we do is spam. Now, another thing to note here, he started building with metal, which has a low health essentially when it first spawns. They're very easy to break when they first spawn. Just start shooting them. In this case, I wanted to stop him from getting high ground. The immediate goal is for one of us to establish high ground. He has rockets. If he gets high ground, he wins this fight. So I shoot out his base. The minute his base falls, build up and over. Nothing crazy. and secure the win. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. I hope that you enjoyed it and I hope that you learned something as well. You saw the logo GFC at the beginning of the video. That stands for the Game and Fight Club, where literally every single stream, all we do is help trying to train you, help you learn, and help you win. If you feel like that's something you would like to be a part of, please stop by anytime. We would love to have you and look forward to seeing you there. As always, stay awesome.